Christmas. I suddenly realised this is something I started back in 2020. I think. Did I do it before that? I think, yeah, it would have been 2020. It was kind of a lockdown thing that I would actually do a video on Christmas Day. Like, like the Queen's speech and whatever. But obviously, or we do have a Queen, but she doesn't do the speech anymore. Does the King do a speech? Now that's what I need to know. Every year I ask myself, does the King do a speech? Is he as good as his mother? Is he worth competing with? I don't know, because I've never watched the King's speech. I've watched very few Queen speeches, to be fair, so, so has he followed on that tradition? I imagine so, I don't know. But anyway, so during these Queen speeches, often I've been walking around on the downs, and so I've done more than one. Today, I had a nice family one today with my brother and his family. Yeah, there's not really much chance of putting it, doing lots of random ones. I could have done, I suppose, but my family might have been. I've watched me and just sort of think, oh, she is actually quite weird, actually, but today, like I did last year, actually very, very similar experience to last year. I walked about 3.5 miles to Ferring. And this is what I pointed out to my sister-in-law, actually, that every time I walk over to their place, it's always sunny. It's really weird, because I've done it, I'd say at least 4 times. I did it in 2019. Then the next time I did it was actually last year. So I kind of had a gap, with like COVID and everything. I was going on like hiking trails and, blah, 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 blah over Christmas. But I've kind of got that out of my system. So I'm doing more kind of the family stuff now. And so it's like every single time, those 4 times, because it was like last year, I did it, and then obviously today, and then I did it last week just to hand deliver their Christmas card, and all 4 occasions it was just lovely, sunny, just walking along the prom. I went a slightly different way today, actually, because I went I walked right down to Goring. I've done the map and whatever, but I kind of walked it down to Goring and then walked along the coast a little bit, and then I walked up through the plantation and the Ilex Avenue, which will mean a lot possibly if you live in Goring or Ferring or possibly Worthing. If you don't, you might not even know what I'm talking about, but hey, that's local stuff for you. And we had Christmas dinner quite soon after I arrived. I arrived quite late, but it was absolutely delicious, really lovely. Had kind of a nut roast and the trimmings sort of thing, very, very nice. Then we tried to play what was it called? Outsmarted. But this is the thing on Christmas Day. Everyone wants to play it, so it just gets, it just crashes. So we gave up on that one. And we started playing, oh God, what was it called? Boggled? Super Boggled or something like that. It's like a letters game. We have to make up lots of words, whatever. Now, it was like one of my nephews and my sister-in-law and my brother and myself. So 4 of us were playing. And I was winning, and then suddenly my brother just like wham. So yeah, it's like I came second, but that's all right. And lovely Christmas Day. My brother dropped me home. Absolutely lovely family day. And so anyway, the rest of the year, this is what I've generally done with these videos. I've just kind of very briefly, hopefully very briefly, I've gone up to 4 minutes, but that's fine. What's happened this year? Well, I suppose the biggie is, or one of the biggest, there have been a few biggies actually. One was I started volunteering for Guildcare in the fundraising and events team, and I'm absolutely loving that. I kind of helping out with the preparations and the actual taking part in the events. And I was actually an elf in Santa's Grotto last Sunday, and that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Just like talking to the children as they came in, what's your name, and would you like a sweet while you're waiting? Stuff like that. My little elf tunic thing that I was wearing. Yeah, Santa was lovely as well. So, well, yeah, he works for the company, but well, yes. Well, obviously it was the Santa, and he's got two jobs, is what I'm trying to say. So, isn't it funny that Santa, he actually works for the same company that I volunteer in? Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Anyway, and so there was that, and to kind of trying to get into that kind of field of work, really. I just love the whole kind of event planning and project planning, management, whatever. So hopefully 2026 is going to be my year for that, and I'm actually going to really get into something like that. And so I suppose the other thing is like the realisation that the struggles that I've been going through all my life, suddenly realising that it's like, oh my God, I've got autism. And that was such a shock. It was about 6 months ago, so about halfway through the year, that I made this realisation. I'm now going through the diagnosis process, to be assessed. And so, yeah, that's quite, that's going to be happening kind of early in the year anyway. I'll be very, very surprised if they say, no, actually you don't have autism. I'd be very, very surprised, because the more that I'm kind of looking into it and whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's definitely me. And it's not just one or two things, there's a whole lot of them, all the struggles. I've got to get a list together actually, so that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. It's just like, oh my God, when they kind of realise that women, girls, women, can get it too, because it really was very much kind of something that boys had, obviously not all boys, but it's something that only boys got. That's how it was seen. But the problem is, and this is how people often still see it, and it's just so frustrating. When I say to people, it's like, yeah, I've realised now I've got autism, they'd be like, really? You don't look like someone with autism, or whatever. That's not the point. Inside, I've really, really struggled with certain things. So, and I've really masked it, and I think I've done really well to get where I am now. That I've managed to hide it so well, without even realising I had it, if that makes sense. It's very, I've always it's like, oh, why do I struggle to fit in? And just the desperation of wanting to fit in. And often this is what girls and women do, they're just so desperate to fit in, being part of the in crowd and, whatever, when they're growing up, that it's like, it's not even like a choice, it's just something you have to do, and you have to work 10 times as hard to fit in, and you still don't get there quite. So anyway, that was a biggie this year. What else has happened this year? Co-hosted Weymouth, a trip, a hiking trip, and it's going to be happening again next year. We've kind of decided, because it was such a roaring success last year. I think part of the reason why it was such a success, the weather, and obviously we knew what we were doing. I hope we knew what we were doing, and I think people enjoyed it. We had a meal the first night, it's just that everything just fell into place on this trip. And I think also the fact there were two of us hosting it, so that really makes a difference, because obviously everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, and we get on well, we're good friends, so we're doing that again this year. I've already booked my accommodation, so all is good. And I need to get some hikes together actually for the same group. I'm actually leading one. I've done the January one. There's one in February I need to do, and I need to really start putting more hikes on in 2026. So what else? I want to get into the position where I'm able to move again. That's not really been a practical option. It's just really that the place that I live in, I don't like the area particularly. It's just in the middle of nowhere, and it's just too small for me. So I got too much stuff, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to move again. It's like, well, I don't want to move, but I want to be living somewhere else, I think is a better way of putting it. I hate the whole moving process. That's why I've not done anything about it. Right, we're coming up to 10 minutes. What else do I need to say? Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. Yeah, I've decided that 2026 is going to be a good year for everyone. Simple as that. I want to be in a position where I can get a cat, actually. Yeah, because my brother's got 2 cats. So they were both very sociable today. Because usually one of them, because there's a girl and a boy. The boy is a Persian, a Fluffy, and he's Teddy, and honestly he looks like a teddy bear. And Mittens, the girl, is black. And I noticed this today. It's so sweet. She's got a little white bit kind of on her chest. It's like, she's never come up that close to me today, but for whatever reason, maybe she started to recognise my smell or whatever, because I was, I'll say that, I was there, oh yeah, the last time I was there, it was less than a week ago, just a couple of days ago, and the time before that was actually last Christmas, so, but I don't know, she was being very confident and whatever today, so, which isn't usual, so yeah, it's I'm running out of stuff to say. So anyway, no, this is what I say. Regarding like King Charles and whatever. It's one of these things. Even though he's been king now, God bless her, his mother died over 3 years ago. It's just we have a king. It doesn't feel right. It's like God save the king, and yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Charles. I'm sure you're lovely and all that. I don't know you. You certainly don't know me. I know you more than you know me, but that's how it is. It just seems like it was funny, when I said, "Oh, I'm competing with the Queen." It doesn't seem so funny when I'm competing with the King. I think it's because I'm a girl and he's a boy. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, so next year's going to be a good year for everyone, so Happy New Year.
Oh, let the bells mean you're arriving, and on this lonely night to Christmas.